third and final post in our Leadership Insight on the situational leadership topic. I'm going to bring it all together, review what we learned last time. I think it's worth going over a couple of the key points again and then wrap it up today. So the key to being a great situational leader is this. You have to know one size doesn't fit all. The core foundation of situational leadership model is the knowledge that there is no single best approach to leadership. Every time somebody says to me, hey, Mr. McCarthy, what's your leadership style? The answer is it depends. Instead, effective leadership is viewed as being task or goal relevant. So the most successful leaders are the ones who are able to adapt their leadership style across a broad range of varying maturity and capability levels that are present in a team or set of individuals. Also, factoring into the choice of leadership style are the individual team members' willingness and ability to take responsibility for the task, okay? As well as, their education, knowledge, experience on, the certain subject matter. So that means knowing your people, really knowing them, not just having assumptions about them, but knowing them is really essential. So you need to ask yourself, how well do you know your people? Given then the wide level of variability in these factors, choices surrounding leadership style are highly subjective. In regard to the team member that you're leading and the specific job or task that's been assigned. Though it's meant to provide a lot of adaptability, you will remember that there are only 4 basic styles in the situational leadership model, and each is designed to deliver the highest level of success from each team. So do you remember the 4 styles from last week? Telling, selling, participating, and delegating, right? What's really interesting though as well is there's a clear distinction between, let's call it productivity or success, and team member development. So the first 2 styles, telling and selling, are really focused on accomplishing the task or the goal, while styles 3 and 4, participating and delegating, are actually more concerned with the personal development of the team member. I guess it's equally concerned with participating. You've got to make sure that the job gets done, but you're really looking more to give people the opportunity to develop, which is really important. Let's round up on these 4 styles one last time. So telling, here the leader will specifically instruct the team members what to do and how to do it, right? Because of the level or lack of, quite frankly, ability, maturity, experience that they have. Selling, number 2, information and direction is still provided by the leader in this style, but there's more of a 2-way communication with the team members. Here, what's key is the leader sells their message to get people on board, persuading them to work towards that common goal. Participating, number 3. With participation, leaders can focus more on relationships and less on direction. And in doing so, the leader works closely with the team and shares decision-making responsibilities, okay? And then finally, delegating. Although the leader still monitors the task and the goal and the team's progress, very important that they don't just, nothing to do with me, kind of hands off. They don't do that, but they will pass much of the responsibility for execution and completion of the goals onto an individual or a team. And by delegating, the leader is actually obviously less involved and therefore more able to focus on people development and other activities, okay? So the whole idea of situational leadership is you have to be able to flex your style to suit the situation, the task, the goal, and the individual's needs. So knowing what level of competency each individual is at is very important. It's the key to effective use of this model. But once understood, the leader has a good blueprint to be able to use and constantly kind of flex their style to suit the situation and the individual. Your task as an effective leader is to keep developing your team through the cycle. So it's not just a tool you apply, right? It's a cycle. Let's see if I can explain that a little better. So if an individual is at level 4 on the model, if you remember, that's what we called peak performer. So they're high competence, high commitment, and you're delegating to them. Let's say, put it into context, right? You have a great instructor in your class, and they're peak performer at leading that class or leading that particular drill. You delegate, but then you try to then give them an additional responsibility, a higher level of complexity, something very different, so that they intentionally have to start back at level 1 for that new responsibility. And then, working with them, leading them through all levels 1, 2, 3, and 4 until at that new responsibility, they become a peak performer. You see what I mean? It's a cycle. So this pattern is a continuous loop. And enacted correctly, the leader can not only get things done, but they can develop empowered, energized, highly skilled teams. That's really the power of this. Of course, it would be suicide to introduce a novice and let them, get on with a highly complicated, task such as leading a class, which, frankly takes years, to become highly competent in it. You don't do that until they're ready. But, a stretch goal. We've talked about this in, a number of our leadership forums. That's perfect. This way, you just throw them in there at the deep end, so to speak. They become unhappy, unsuccessful, stressed, demotivated, and then likely they'll walk out. But it's also just as important, for if you have a really competent team member, they really are capable of at least leading a drill, a part of a class, a whole class. They could do that really well, but you're still micromanaging them, or even worse, they're not being allowed to get up and lead that drill or take on that responsibility or goal. That's also, a real problem. Micromanagement is a killer. So in summary, great leaders will recognize the different leadership styles available in this situational leadership model. They know the ability and maturity and capability of their people, and they apply this cycle to keep on developing them even further. Great leaders are bold enough to adjust their style appropriately to match the individual's needs, and they learn from their mistakes, right? And they develop as a leader because they practice and practice and practice. So team, that's it for now. As always, reflect and practice yourself. Next week, we'll start with a new leadership insight. If you have any questions or feedback, ideas for other topics you'd like us to discuss, please, I'd love to hear from you. And bye for now.